Good. The eardrum has a canal called the ear canal that helps the chicken to process sound. So it's for auditory stimulation. The sound is able to enter the ear through a canal present in the eardrum. So there's a small canal here. It's called the ear lobe. That is what the chicken uses to process sound. I hope you understand very well.
Yes.
Good. Now, this is the upper part. This is the eye. It has a movable iris. Can you see it?
Yes.
It's moving. So this is the eye, and this is the nostrils. Now, this is the wings. Can you see this?
Yes.
This is the wings. Now, the wings has two feathers. Now, if you see this one, this is one that is very far. Look at another one that is very close to the arms. Do you understand? Yes. The wings has two feathers. This is the wings of the chicken. Now, this one that is very far from the arms is called the primary feather, while this one here is called the secondary feather. The major function of the wings is for flight. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. This is what the chicken used to fly. This one is called the primary feather, and this one is called the secondary feather. Now we still have another one here. This is the back feather here is used for balancing. If the chicken wants to balance, it's using this feather. Do you understand? It's used for balancing. Then all these feathers you see here on top of the body of the chicken, they are called contour feathers. Now the function of the contour feather is an insulation. The difference between a conductor and an insulator is that conductors allow heat to pass through them, while insulators do not. They are opposite of conductors, they do not allow heat. If not for the presence of these contour feathers in this chicken, there will be enough, the amount of solar energy coming from the sun, it will be hitting the chicken directly. Do you understand? Yes. It will be hitting it. So these feathers, they are contour feathers, they are regulating, they are preventing excess heat from entering the chicken. I hope you understand this.
Yes.
Good. Now, at the leg of this chicken, let me see if they have this one have. There is a structure here called the spore. Very small. So this is an outgrowth here on the leg. It's called a spore. If you look at it, it's sharp. Can you see this?
Yes.
In the diagram of the chicken, it's going to be like this. This is the leg of the chicken. It's here. It's an extension here. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's called the spore. Now, the chicken use this spore in fighting and for self-defense. Can you see this? They use this in what?
Self-defense.
Fighting and self-defense. It's also a sign of the sexual maturity in the chicken. Because when the chicken is mature, it begins to develop this spore. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Now, just at the upper part of this, before the cochlea, at the upper part of this chicken, there is a gland. Let me show you. Please, can you see this?
Yes.
Can you see this?
Yes.
This is a gland. The name of this gland is an oil gland or the preen gland. We call this gland here, just above the anus, we call it an oil gland or the preen gland. One of the major functions of this oil gland, it produces antibacterial and antifungal. It's going to prevent this chicken from contacting infection. Otherwise, a lot of us will be eating chicken infected with different kind of infection, and you know what it is to eat a chicken with an infection. Do you understand? It's going to pose a very big threat to our health. So because of this gland that is present in the chicken, it's going to produce an oil. It's called an oil gland. The oil contains antibacterial and antifungal. It's an oil gland. The name of this oil gland is also called a preen. Now the function of this oil gland is to produce antibacterial. Antibacterial means they fight bacteria. Do you understand? Anti against bacteria, they fight bacteria. And put fungus. Now they fight fungi. Do you understand? So that's the major function of this. And secondly, if you notice the chicken, it will be very difficult if rain falls and beats the chicken. After a very period of time, when it shakes the feather, you notice the feather is dried up easily, isn't it? Good. Now, it's the oil gland or the spring produces oil that prevents it's like a waterproof. Do you understand? It prevents the feather of the chicken from soaking is improved. So by the time they mix the oil, you know, okay. The gland produces an oil, do you understand? The oil gland is like a waterproof. Anytime you rain or you pour water on the chicken, the water is not going to go directly into the skin of the chicken because of the presence of this gland here called the praying gland. Do you understand? It produces enough oil that can go enough to circulate the feed. If you pour chicken water before a short period of time, you will notice that the whole body of the chicken is completely dried up. Why? Because there's an oil that the gland produces that sounds as a waterproof. This oil is going to prevent the water that is hitting the chicken from going directly into the skin, because it's not going to make the feathers to clot, to come together. Do you understand? The oil, the function of the oil is like a lubricant. Lubrication means it doesn't make those two things to come together. So this is going to release the oil that will prevent this thing from soaking. Do you understand? Now the next thing I want to show you here is the leg. What you see here is called scales. Do you understand? You see this? It's called scales. Look at the diagram. The diagram of the chicken, something like this, is called scales. The major function of the scales is for protection. It protects the chicken against excess heat, and it prevents excess water from leaving the skin of the chicken. So that's the two major functions of the scales. Number one, for protection, and number two, it prevents excess water loss from the chicken. Protection prevents excess water loss. Now, down to the leg. We call these digits. Can you see this? This is the finger. We call this 1, 2, 3, 4. We call these digits. In birds, there are different types of digits. But this is a 3-1 digit. Look at it. 1, 2, 3. Do you understand? You have a 2 digits. If you have a 2 digit, that means the leg is going to be like this. If you see the leg like this is a 2 plus 2 digits. Do you understand? Yes. But in the case of this bird now, look at the leg, look at it. Yes. Can you see this? 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is separated from it. Can you see it? So we call it a 3 plus 1. 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 1 digits. Do you understand? 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 1 digits. Do you understand? Or 3, 1. Because this one is completely separated from it. Some birds are like this. We call it 2, 2. The digit is a 2 plus 2 digits. But this is a 3 plus 1. Do you understand? So this is a 3 plus 1 digit. The digit is what? Is a 3 plus 1 digits. This is called the breast. Watch this part. Can you see this? This is the breast of the chicken, and this is the best part of the chicken. Anytime you want to go and buy chicken, I advise you tell them to give you the breast. This is the best part of the chicken. The reason why we say this is the best part of the chicken is because it contains low fat and highly proteinous. The larger constitution of the protein that the chicken gives comes from the breast. Do you understand? So good. We call this the breast. Now the breast is the best part of the chicken. The breast is the best part of the chicken. Because it has less fat and high protein. And that's why they recommend chicken for people who are obese. That's the reason why they recommend chicken for people who are obese, people who are hypertensive, and people who are diabetic. Because this is a white meat, it's different from the red meat. The white meat you see has less fat, and the red meat has high fat. Yes. How do you know that the red meat has high fat now? Now the bone marrow produces a substance called the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin in turn helps in circulating red blood cells from the blood to other parts of the body. And one of the major pigments that is produced from the hemoglobin as a waste product is the bile. The bile you see has another pigment called bilirubin. The function of the bilirubin is to break down excess fats in the body into fatty acid. So any meat you see that is red is a product of the hen iron, the product of the hemoglobin. The red coloration is as a result of the excess accumulation of fat that the hemoglobin is trying to digest from the bone marrow, that is trying to convert into fatty acid. But there's an absence of this hemoglobin in the bone marrow of the chicken, which is different from the bone marrow of a normal human being, and that's responsible for the white coloration of the chicken because of the absence of that hen in the bone marrow. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Good. Now the bile in the chicken is not produced in the bone marrow. The bile in the chicken is produced in the gallbladder. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And that is that green pigment, that green thing you see that when you burst it is bitter, it can affect the chicken. If you are cutting the chicken, you have to be very careful because if it bursts, it will give the chicken that bitter taste. Do you understand? That bladder you see that engulfs that green thing is called the gallbladder. Do you understand? And that is where the bile is a small amount compared to that of human. And that's why we say chicken has white meat and then other animal produces red meat. Now the white meat has less cholesterol or less fat. Do you understand? And highly proteinous. And that's how we go for the breast. This is the best part of the chicken. The next I'm going to show you now is the vent. This is the vent. This chicken head too much. Come and see it. Can you see this? Where the chicken used to lay egg and excrete and remove waste product. Look at it. Where the chicken, an opening where the chicken is called a vent. A vent, that is the structure. Structure the chicken used to lay egg. Used to lay eggs and get rid of waste product from the body. So this is it about the external anatomy of the chicken. Any question? Do you have any question on this? Go through it. If you have any question on this, you said. Yes. No, I'm not. All I'm saying is it's constantly going to keep the feather. If you pour it, if you pour it water, it's going to take time. But definitely it's not going to be, the feather is not going to come together. It's normal. Look at it. Look at this place which is soaked. Can you see it? Can you see that the feather is still separated? Because of the gland. It won't come together. This is the external anatomy of the chicken. Any questions? If you have any question, let me hear it. Do you have any question before I move to the dissection of the chicken? Okay.
Is there any bird that can have one digit?
I've not seen a bird with one digit. Have you seen a bird with one digit before? Now, the major function of the digit is it will help the chicken, it will help the bird to hold the branch very tight. If you see a branch like this, if the bird lands on it, it's going to use the digit to hold the branch like this. Do you understand? That's why when you see they're going to use their claws. Once they land like this, is to hold the branch. That's just the function of the digit. So if you have one, it's very difficult for you to hold the branch very well. I've not even seen two, but most birds come with 4 digits. 3 plus 1 and 2 plus 2. Just some few birds that have 5 digits. Do you understand?
Yes.
But this is the function of the digit. It's just to make the branch of the leaf very firm. That's the function of the digits. Do you understand?
Yes.
Any other question? So the next part of the chicken is dissection of the chicken. We're going to cut Then you see how you dissect chicken. Listen, there's something I want to show you. You can kill a chicken without a knife, without pulling the head. You can still kill a chicken. The same way you kill human beings. Be very careful for those of you who are very, very physical, who like to fight. Don't hit somebody. Look at me. Don't hit somebody here. See this part? This is where the brain connects the spinal cord. It is called the medulla oblongata or the occipital region. If you attack somebody with any weapon, no matter how huge that person is, if you hit somebody here, you are going to disconnect the joint that links the nervous system to the spinal cord. And the spinal cord contains a part of the skeleton which is divided mainly into three. This upper part is called the cervical, the middle part is called the thoracic, and the down part is called the lumbar. The middle part, listen, produces blood, and the process by which the skeleton produces blood is called hematophoresis. This blood transfers from the spinal cord down to the brain, and the junction is here, which is the medulla oblongata. Another name for this junction is called the hindbrain, and that's what links the spinal cord to the brain, to the nervous system. If you disconnect it, the oxygen that is coming out from your blood, because one of the major functions of the red blood cells is to transport oxygen from the blood to other parts of the body. This blood that is produced from the bone that the spinal cord is transporting, the hindbrain serves as a channel where the blood reaches the brain. By the time you disconnect, you hit somebody there, you are going to stop oxygen that the blood is carrying from reaching the brain. And as long as there is shortage or no supply of oxygen from your blood reaching your brain, the brain will stop functioning. And if the brain stops functioning, your body system will shut down automatically, and that's the definition of coma. Because the central nervous system is a part of the brain. Listen, the brain is divided into, the nervous system is divided into the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is where the brain is. The nervous system is a system that coordinates all the activities of the body. The moment you shut the nervous system, all the activities of your body will shut down, and the first part of your body that will shut down is your brain. And that's why when somebody is in coma, the person is not dead. They try to revive the person. And if you don't have quick oxygen, you resuscitate that person. That's why they place the person under artificial oxygen. If you see somebody who is in coma, you see what they call an artificial respirator. They place that person under oxygen and begin to pump oxygen so that there will be enough supply of oxygen from the cord to the brain of the person artificially. The moment there is limited supply, the person will die. If you have this, in the chicken, this is the part. Look at this ending. If I hit this, you watch how the chicken will faint. Just be hitting this joint. It's shaking. Did you see? It's cutting. Are you watching? It's shaking. He wants to die. Watch it. I'm disconnecting it. Watch it. Look at the eye. See, it's bleeding. Are you seeing blood coming out? That is how they kill human beings. Look at it. The chicken is. Why? Let me tell you something now. The heart is still alive. Are you watching? Watch. It's shaking. You see, man, it's shaking because I've disconnected the hindbrain from the spinal cord. The chicken is shaking. Watch it. I don't need knife. Watch it. It will get to a point where it will not shake again. I'm disconnecting it. Be watching. All of you be watching. Watch. Are you seeing the strength is reducing? Watch. Now, notice something, that the blood is coming out from the comb and the nose. Why? Because how does the comb help your body to regulate internal heat so that you can stop the temperature of the body from rising is by circulating blood. Listen, it's going to circulate blood throughout the body. The chicken is dead. Look at the neck. Now this is how human beings too die. Can you see the neck? Just this side. Look at it. Is it shaking? No. What? Shake before it was. Look at it. It's dead. It's dead. I don't need knife. Now let me show you the neck. The heart. The heart. When the person dies, that is why. That in the mouth is still alive as of that time. Don't close, don't close, open up, then you close open back, you close open back, and it's going to be a deep pressure and those people are washing their body. Imagine coming and see the eye of the people. So those people are not scared, they are trained. But what I say is that close the eye. Now by the time the cells is there permanently and the eye is closed, you can't open it. You open it to close back. Now, as this thing is, when you die, the last part of your body cells that dead here, because when the central nervous system is, where the brain is, every part of the body is being that as the chicken is still hearing sound. Yes. Eardrum, ear canal, the last part, as if you are making this noise, then every part of the body will shut down gradually. Every part of the body shutting down gradually. Now shut completely. When you die, it's very difficult for you to know you are dead automatically because you begin to hear sound around you. You wake up, you be hearing sound, this sound. But let me show you how. I still repeat, be very careful. This process is the same with human being. For those of you who want to show your Jackie Chan skills and listen, look at it here. This is the joint. If you hit somebody there with last word, the person can slump and die instantly. In a second, the person can slump and die instantly. This one is because it's a bed. I didn't get, if they get you 100% in your hindbrain, you slump and die. Now look at the diagram of the brain. Now this is the chicken brain. Please watch. This part of the brain is called the olfactory lobe. Now this is connected to the nose streaks of the chicken where the chicken used to smell. Human beings will have it too. The part of the chicken that the chicken used to smell things is called the olfactory lobe. Now the brain is divided into 3 regions. The first part, these regions, is called the forebrain. This part is called the midbrain, and this part is called the hindbrain. Now, the hindbrain has a structure called the medulla oblongata. Now, what is the function of the medulla oblongata? The function of the medulla oblongata is for reflex action. Do you understand? Reflex action, something you cannot control. Involuntary action. Do you understand? Involuntary action. And the involuntary action we have in the human body are your cardiac activity. Cardiac is related to the word heart. The heart of this chicken now is dead. It has stopped. Look at the chicken. It's called cardiac. Now let me show you some involuntary reflex action in the body that this medulla oblongata is in charge of. And that's why by the time you disconnect it from the human body, look at how this person dies slowly. This part of your brain is linked. Watch this. This is your spinal cord. This is your backbone or your spinal cord. Listen, this is your brain, this is your spinal cord. This is the joint. This is the joint. This is the joint that links your brain to your spinal cord. There's a joint that connects your brain to your spinal cord. Are you hearing? And this organ that is located there is called the medulla oblongata. Can you hear me? Now look at the function of the medulla oblongata. Number one. Remember I told you it's an involuntary reflex action, something you cannot control. As I'm talking to you now, if the weather is hot, I'll begin to sweat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Now in my body system, there is a gland called the endocrine gland. There are two systems in the human body that is in charge of coordination. The first one is the nervous system or nervous coordination, and the second one is the endocrine system or the hormonal coordination. Now these two things, they don't work individually, they work hand in hand. So whenever there is an electrical impulse that is sending a signal to your human body, there is a gland that will receive the impulse and then secrete a hormone to react towards that impulse. Now in this case now, if the weather is too hot, there's a signal that is sent to my body saying that the weather is hot. The adrenal gland will now secrete a hormone called the adrenaline hormone. Adrenaline hormone is a stress hormone. It is that hormone that is going to produce sweat from your sweat gland, which is exactly what is happening to me now. I cannot control it. It's an involuntary reflex action. Do you understand? The second one is respiration. If you stop breathing, you die. It's an involuntary reflex action. Do you understand? The part of the system that coordinates is your rib, which is your bone. Do you understand? The third one is heartbeat. Now, watch this, if the medulla oblongata controls respiration and then you disconnect the joint, this is between the hindbrain and the spinal cord, it so means that the medulla oblongata will no longer be functioning. Are you understand what I'm saying? The medulla oblongata will no longer be functioning because the joint where the hindbrain and the spinal cord meet is where the medulla oblongata is sited or situated. And the major function of medulla oblongata is for breathing or respiration. If you disconnect this joint, the brain, the organism will stop breathing. And by the time you stop breathing, you die. So the moment you hit somebody and you notice the person stopping, it will be shaking. Exactly, if you see how human beings act, that's how this chicken will act. If you go quietly and hit somebody behind the brain, the person will be shaking. That person is dying. If you don't rush that person to the hospital immediately, instant, that person has less than 30 minutes to survive. Because the joints that connect the hindbrain to the spinal cord has been disconnected. So the medulla oblongata is dying gradually. It's forcing itself, it's struggling to breathe, it cannot function. And as it's dying, automatically the nervous system will shut down. Your brain will shut down. Every part of your system will shut down. And now the organism will die. And that's what I just did here. Hope you understand. Time for dissection.